Welcome to A Vision Entertainment TV. I'm your host, Tommy, once again. And we are back, y'all, in Houston right now with an icon, man. I call him an icon and a legend. This man is YZ. You know what I mean? He had the song Thinking of a Master Plan, The Ghetto's Been Good to Me, Return of the Holy One, and a bunch of others, man. What's up, man?
Peace.
What's going on, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's a pleasure, that you invited us down because I want you to be a part of what's going on, man, back in Philly. First, I just want the viewers to know where are you from, and give us your journey of how you came in the rap industry.
Well, I was born in Paterson, New Jersey.
Okay.
And when we moved, my mother's job had moved from Paterson or that area, Wayne, to Central New Jersey.
Okay.
And when it moved, we moved with it.
Okay.
And so we moved to an outskirt of Trenton, or a suburb of Trenton, called Heightstown, or East Windsor, which is exit 8 on the turnpike. That's where I went to school. And then while I was there, even though I started with music in Paterson a little bit, just banging on stop signs and stuff like that.
Yeah, you get the original stuff.
I was with this crew back then. We were really like a small local gang, but we would rap and bang on stop signs and kind of do like doo-wop.
Okay.
But we were just kids. So anyway, when I moved to Heightstown, East Windsor, the first thing that I did when I was in 8th grade was I took this course that taught you how to actually DJ and to do a radio show.
Okay.
And so one day a week, it would switch from student to student, and you would have to do that show during class.
Okay.
And so
you get credits for it?
Yeah, it was part of the curriculum.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you what the name of the class was, but later on I took videography, I took photography, and then when I was about 16 years old, I met a guy named Tony D. Tony was a producer, Italian cat out of Ewing, which is really just outside of Trenton. It's like you got Trenton and Ewing is right next to each other, right touch. And he used to DJ this place called like the Lawrence Center. One day we were at his house, we did this demo. It was called I'm Bad, and what he did was he took that Trans Europe Express joint, and I just rapped over it for like maybe 9 minutes.
You spit over it, yeah.
And that tape got to this dude named DJ Woody Wood, who was out of Philadelphia.
I was gonna say that Woody Wood, EST?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not that Woody Wood.
Not that Woody Wood?
No, this is Jeff Mills. When Lady B was on, Lady B had this guy who would do her mix show called Woody Wood.
Okay.
Jeff Mills. And Jeff Mills and Woody Wood were alternating, so they were like an alternating DJ.
Okay.
Mixed DJ. So anyway, DJ Woody Wood. Speaking of which, shout out to EST. I just talked to EST just yesterday.
Okay.
I'm about to send
shout out to ES. What's up, man? Peace.
About to give him some beats and everything. Like that dude is like really the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, just his personality, everything.
Yeah.
But that's another story. So anyway, what happened after that was that demo that we did got to Woody Wood. Woody Wood passed it on to Jeff. Jeff came to meet me. I'm trying to kind of streamline it.
Now with Jeff? Jazzy Jeff or?
No. Jeff Mills.
I'm sorry. You said Jeff Mills earlier. Okay, yeah, Jeff Mills.
We'll speak on Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince later if you like.
Okay.
But my point is, this guy came to see me. My father took me to the Dunkin' Donuts to meet him. And while I got in this man's car, my father sat in the car and watched us talk. And as soon as I got in his car, he was like, hey, I got this tape, what you want it? I didn't know how he got the tape.
You don't know how he got the tape?
I didn't know how. I found out later how he got it.
From Woody Wood, and
Yeah. He was like, yo, I really like this tape. I'm going to put you in the studio. Is it possible for you to redo this record in the studio? I'll take you up to New York, we'll go produce this record. So Tony D, myself, and Jeff Mills went up to this studio called Evergreen, and we did 2 records. And at the time, I was writing rhymes for this kid named G-Rock, and I had a DJ named Tink, and we were called 2 Def.
Okay.
And so I did a solo joint called I'm Bad, and on the flip side, I did this joint called I Am Who I Am, which was G-Rock, myself, and Tink. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty big. Okay, so let's kind of streamline this. How it gets really real for me is, I know Jeff Mills because I hear him on the radio every weekend, just like I heard Red Alert, just
and
like
Lady
I heard
B,
Chuck Chill Out, and everybody else. Yeah. So we go up, we do this record. I don't know how long it's gonna take to get presses back. I don't know nothing. Yeah. About a week after we went to the studio, I'm listening to Jeff Mills, and my brother says, "Hey, isn't that your song?"
So they rocking your joint.
So if it would have passed me, because I guess I was listening too hard.
Yeah. You forgot it was your own joint. Go ahead.
So I run outside because G-Rock lived in the apartment complex across the street from me.
Okay.
So I'm running to his house. By the time I get to his house, he got the speaker blasting out the window, playing the joint. I could see him dancing in the window, his mom dancing in the window. Everybody was tripping. That's when I knew, like, I wanted to do this for real. Like, I wanted to do this.
What was the age?
I was 16.
At that time when I'm Bad, right?
I'm Bad, yeah.
You was 16?
Before LL's I'm Bad, before Michael Jackson I'm Bad.
Wow. Did you ever bring that out as far as like later on in the years? What year was that when you brought that up?
Maybe 86.
That's what I'm saying. So did you ever redo it again? Oh no, you didn't.
No, we put it out. It ended up coming out. We ended up signing that record to a small label out of Trenton called Rock and Hard Records.
So can I go ahead? Can I go back and listen to that?
Yeah, you can go on YouTube right now and listen to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how it got started for me, and then how I got into the music business, the business of music, actually behind the scenes and being a record store owner, or a record company owner. Okay, these 2 brothers own a small label called Rock and Hard Records, and that's what we released that record on.
And where was this at? New York or?
No, this was in Trenton, New Jersey.
Trenton, New Jersey.
Trenton, New Jersey. 2 young brothers, probably maybe no more than 5 years older than me, 6 years older than me. Between 5 and 10 years older than me. Mind you, I'm 16, so they had to be no more than like 24, 26.
Yeah.
So anyway, after I saw what they were doing, I was just like, yo, this can't be that hard. I could do this myself. I could put out music myself. Like, why? This is dope. Like, I mean, why am I, and I never put out anything else on that label. The second time I put a record out, it was on my own record label called Diversity. And how that came about was this guy named Timothy Baylor had started this label called Diversity. He had no artists on the label. And I had a record on the radio.
Wow.
I went to him and said, look, I know how we can make some money together. I was like, I got records.
Yeah.
I'm making a name for myself. You got a label. Give me half that label and we can do something together.
Wow.
And he signed over half that label to me. Mind you, I'm only probably just turning 17.
And you're the only one on the label at that time?
The only person on the label at the time. Yeah. The second group to sign on that label was Poor Righteous Teacher.
Thank you for that. I wanted to know, did you have any affiliation with them? Like, did you?
I signed them to their first record deal.
Oh, so you signed them, Poor Righteous Teacher.
I signed PRT to their first record deal.
That's good to know. That's good history for me. Because you did an album with them. You did a song with them.
No. Look, PRT, how we met, Tony D, the Italian guy, because we started a company called Two-Tone Productions, which was Tony DePula and Tony Hill, which is me. Anthony DePula, Anthony Hill, Italian black. So we played on words, Two-Tone Productions.
Okay.
Two-Tone Productions, if you look at any of my first album, if you look at Poor Righteous Teacher's first album, it'll say Two-Tone Productions on it, right?
I never saw
Okay,
it.
so Two-Tone Productions was he and I. what we did was we were driving around Trenton one day and we pull up to this little cookout in the middle of the hood, like the hood.
You see him all day.
We go to the backyard. It's a DJ back there. No people, just a DJ, maybe 1 or 2 people back there.
Wow.
Cooking whatever they cooking. They got a mic. He noticed me, so I grabbed a mic. I start rapping. He's like, hold on, I'll be right back. They go off. Maybe 15 minutes later, they come back, and this with this boy, this guy, maybe my age, maybe a little younger, but he's a little shorter than me.
Yeah.
Pants inside out.
That.
Comes, grabs a microphone, murders the mic. And I'm like blown away. I don't know who this man is.
But he murdered it.
But he murdered the mic. I introduced myself to him. He introduced himself as Wise Intelligent. Wow. We signed him. And
was it that same day or the next day?
Probably wasn't that same day, but very shortly thereafter. Like within that week's time, we had a contract to that kid. I was like, yo, we gotta get this guy right here, him.
Wow.
And so we signed PRT. Tony D, who was my business partner for Two Tone Productions, really didn't like the fact that I had a record company and a production company. He never said anything outwardly, but he would get in PRT's ear about this, that, and the third. And I guess Tony was smart. Like, he was one of those persons that knew beef could cause friction, and friction could cause heat. And heat is what we want.
And it brings the money, it brings it all.
Brings it all. So I couldn't see it at the time. I didn't like it at the time, but that's what he was doing. He was in Wise's ear. Now, mind you, Tony is producing my stuff and producing PRT stuff. And what happened was he got in his ear. Next thing you know, Wise is upset with me and asking for a release from Diversity.
And you don't know what's going on.
Not at the time. Didn't know what was happening. It's like, why? He never really divulged the information, but I guess Tony had gotten involved with this other dude that had a label called Northside Records that was just about to start up. Okay. And Northside, I guess the guys knew the guy who, I know his name, but I'm not trying to get in.
Yeah, that's cool.
I guess it really doesn't matter. The brother's name was IQ. IQ had a label. PRT wanted to be on Northside now because Northside was another part of Trenton, and Tony had caused friction between my business partner, Timothy, and the boys. Okay. So they wanted a release.
That caused a separation.
Yeah. Tim didn't want to let PRT go. He wanted to hold him to their contract. Wow. I pulled Timmy to the side twice. I was like, yo, you can't do that. I said, if these guys don't want to be here, let them go. They're too talented. We can't hold that back, man, because, I mean, we're going to need that at some point.
Now, if a person have a contract, you telling me you have to let them go? Don't they stay until it run out?
We could have made them stay.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
We could have held them up for a long time. We could have held them. But
you was being nice, basically. Not being nice. You just wanted them to go.
Look, at the same time, man, this is what I treat business like I treat everything else, with respect. At the end of the day, if I'm dating a girl, right, and that girl feels like she's forced to be with me, it's not going to be long before she wants to leave.
That's right.
She's in
bondage. She feel like she's in bondage, man. Yeah.
And so, if Timothy tried to hold on to PRT at the time, there was no way we were going to be able to get good music out of them because it would be rebellious. It would be, or no music. It would have been like, nah, I ain't, I'm not fucking with them. That's what their attitude would have been. Yeah. But it didn't stop there. After we gave him the release, Tony went even deeper. He started, playing my music and my ideas to them and vice versa. Next thing you know, you would think PRT and I is at each other's throats because they making music mentioning me, I'm making music mentioning them. And, but the whole time, we're not really sitting down and talking about the real. Right.
Just going back and forth, man.
So I remember this as clear as day. It's like it happened yesterday. One day I was driving through Trenton and I see Culture Freedom and I see Wise. Okay. I pull over, get out the car. Yo, why don't y'all get in the car, ride with me? We listened to X-Clan that day. because that's what they want. They were into X-Clan at the time. And we listened to X-Clan, rode around the city, and talked about some things. And then later on, Bobby B-Fon, who is all of that music there in that corner over there. And this establishment is us and him.
Okay.
At the end of the day, he and I went to see them at the studio that they had over near Dolly Homes, which is, a projects. But they were at this brownstone up on the 3rd floor.
Okay.
When we get up there, I mean, mind you, it looked like the place was abandoned outside of the lights that were upstairs. You go upstairs, you got Father Shahid up there, you got Culture Freedom up there, and you got Wise Intelligence up there.
In a studio or something, or what they was doing?
Yeah, they had a studio up on the 3rd floor. This building, brownstone. So at the time, even though we had already did This Relier, Tony and I did a remix called Crocodile Dundee, and I felt real bad about the record because it mentioned some things that I just probably should have just not mentioned, and I felt bad about it.
All right.
And I said to Wise then, I said, look, this record is going to come out soon, but I want you to be able to hear it from me first. I didn't do it to disrespect him. I actually did it because I respect the man. At the time, even though there was all of this friction,
going on,
quote unquote, if you want to call it that, friction, I respected PRT. I respect them to this day.
Yeah.
And I played the record for them. I could see that Wise was a little disgusted about it.
Wow.
But at the same time, this brother mentioned me in records where, also. And so, but I was trying to bury the hatchet, even though I was saying, like, look, I know this record is a diss, but understand where it's coming from. And I hope that we had, at the time, really talked about everything, but it just didn't turn into that. Wow. Culture got mad. Wow. Culture was pissed off.
You think it got worse?
He was so mad, he just didn't even say anything. But I was just trying to stop the brother.
You can feel the energy.
No, it was more than that. He looked like he wanted to fight. But remember when I said to you, hey, unless y'all on some gangster shit, we got,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's how we roll. Wow. And so my partner, the reason he stayed so long is because we didn't know what the deal was here. We was just like if it's all peace.
Yeah, I understand.
Safe to sorry.
Exactly. I'm coming from here and, you know what I mean?
We didn't go there unprepared. We were prepared, just in case. We didn't go there for any nonsense.
But just in case.
We were ready.
Yeah.
And that's not to knock them in any way, because I'm sure they were ready too. Yeah. I'm glad nothing happened in that place, because it could have easily turned into some bullshit. Yeah. Anyway, the record came out on this EP, which was, put out after that Sons of the Father album. And it did very well. I mean, for a street record, for a kid from Jersey, Cass was listening to it. And I think they liked it so much because it was a diss record. Well, Wise never retaliated after that. Wow. And which made him, in my eyes, much bigger than me. Much bigger than me. And I tip my hat to him. And I've been a fan of theirs since before they put out their first record.
Okay.
So I guess I'm getting sidetracked.
No, so that's how you came into the rap industry.
Well, yeah, that's how I got in the game. They were the first group that I signed. Then from there, I moved to New York. When I first moved to New York, I was homeless.
Oh, wow.
I had money. I was touring everywhere. I had money. I just didn't have a place to live. And New York's a big place. I'm from Jersey.
Yeah.
I go to New York, and when I go, I literally went on a mission. Like I'm moving to New York. I didn't know how I was moving.
But you just went and up and went. Wow.
Left.
Wow.
Slept on cars for about maybe 4 or 5 days. Then met these guys who became my dancers. 2 of the other guys were special ed dancers, and I slept on one of the guys' floor one night. The other guy,
switching it up.
They lived with their parents. One lived with the mom, and then the other one lived with, and I would sleep on the floor until I got my own place. Then I moved to Brooklyn, oddly enough, with a brother from Blackwatch named Beta. And Beta and I became very intricately involved. He was already part of Black Watch, but I became very intricately involved in Black Watch.
Okay.
And mind you, the first time I really was listening to X-Clan was with PRT in that car.
Yeah, that's what you said. Y'all used to like that.
Now I've become like a very big part of what Black Watch is doing.
Wow.
And so Brother Jay and I became real close with Muma Carson, Sonny Carson, the whole ISIS, all of us, Paradise, all of us. Like I was a big part of that. And for a very short period of time, that was my life. Mm-hmm. And I had a company called 720 Sound. I was in the same building as the Source. My first building was actually on Wall Street. I only stayed there for about maybe 3 weeks. Then I moved to Broadway in Houston, same building as the Source, 594 Broadway.
Okay. There
I signed Adolph the Assassin. I signed UTD, which had a young brother by the name of Mos Def in the group.
Mos Def from Black.
Mos Def.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Talib and Mos Def.
Yeah. Guy. I mean, that's my dude to this day.
Yeah.
And
do you have anybody now that, or are you still doing any?
I manage a few groups here and there, and I'm working. Actually, I'm working on a guy right now out of Philadelphia.
What's his name?
His name is Manny. That's his name, but he goes by Hollywood Jones.
Never heard of him.
He goes by Hollywood Jones, and he's nice. You know, I just talked to him a little earlier today.
Okay.
And then I'm working with this other guy out of Utah. His name is Sick Burnham, and this kid is nice. And he got plenty of videos. He's all over YouTube and everything.
Wow.
But the game is just so different now.
It's
so saturated. It's like, you know, it's music everywhere.
That was my next question. How do you feel about the music today? And will you work with any new artists out here today?
Actually, I'm very impressed with the sound of hip hop today. Actually, I think that I'm glad that it's elevated and changed, and I expect that it will go through another change even now. What I'm mostly impressed with is that it's still here. That when hip hop was just in its earlier stages, people thought it was just going to be a passing phase.
That's right.
And it never stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I look at the young brothers doing their thing, young sisters doing their thing, I applaud them. I'm happy for them.
Mm-hmm.
Content-wise, you know, it could always be a little bit here or there that's added, that just to give the balance that's missing to it. But see, I can't criticize these people, because even in our era, in the era before us, there was always that kind of music. Always. From the Superflies, I mean, you know, to, I don't know if you remember Rudy Ray Moore.
Yeah.
All those dudes, like, I mean, there was a bunch of dudes who was putting out music that encompassed a whole bunch of, sex, drugs, violence. That's always been around.
That's right.
And to be honest with you, if you even look back at the blaxploitation era, I mean, the music was serious, man.
Yeah.
You listen to even like somebody like a Curtis Mayfield. I'm your Pusha, man.
That's right. I'm your Pusha. Yeah.
But we don't question that. I'm your mother. I'm your daddy. I'm that nigga in the alley.
That's
nigga,
right.
what? Like, I mean, it don't really get more real than that.
That's right.
So who am I to criticize any of these young people?
Yeah.
That are just.
It's just different. It's, for some reason, it's just the lyrics is just like not.
To be honest with you, man, it takes as much as we like to say that it's so dumbed down. At the end of the day, it takes skill to do what these kids are doing, and be heard, and be felt.
Man, they rich.
But that's a testament to the art form and the times. It's a testament to the art form and the times. Think about it. If we had the marketplace like they have the marketplace, man, we would be in the same place.
Yeah.
But the market's changed,
and
it'll go through another transition. And that's what I love about today's music, is that it's forever transitioning. What I don't like is people trying to pigeonhole hip hop. Hip hop is a culture. It's not just a music. It's a culture. full-blown culture, just like if you said the African culture.
That's right.
And I don't like the fact that we try to say, oh, that style of hip hop, or that rap, or that's not this, or that. To be honest with you, be glad that it's still around. Be glad that somebody was able to change their lifestyle and be able to make something to change their families' lives. Jay-Z didn't start out where he is. He started out rapping like fibbity, 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 fibbity.
The fast rap, yeah.
That's how he sounded.
Das effects a little bit.
Well, before even Das, because remember when he did Hawaiian Sophie
With Jazzo, yeah.
with Jazzo,
right.
that was that flow. I wasn't doing the words, I was doing the flow. That was his flow.
Yeah.
And so, but look what came of it. We got hip hop's first billionaire from it.
That's right.
Somebody who was so attached to the fullness of the culture of the music and the people.
That's right.
And forever trying to give jewels to people just to come up and be like me.
That's right.
And so I don't knock any of these brothers, man. I think I tip my hat to them. And the fact that they get so much criticism. But so did we.
Yeah.
We got criticism too. It was a different type of criticism because we didn't have that many peers to face.
We had those Vanilla Ices out there. Yeah.
It was like, you know. Yeah. And now it's us fighting against us. And me personally, I think it's a waste of time. Those kids, the only thing we're doing is making them stronger. So we can keep on doing that, or we can learn from them.
Okay.
You know, just like our older generation learn from us.
Yeah, learn from them. Yeah.
You know, I think I think that's what progression should be. You know, so I think when you ask me about the music, I love it, man. Like I can't say that I love all of it, but I never loved all of it. I never loved. There are artists that came out when I came out that I can't.
That you didn't love,
There are artists that came out before me that I can't stand.
Yeah.
I can't love it just because it's rap music.
Yeah.
I can respect it because it's rap music. I can respect it because they are doing what they're doing. But you can't make me love da ha da ha.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't make me love it.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, you played it a million times a day, but you can't make me love it.
Now let me ask you this. And those days in the 90s, 89 and 90s, right? What was it for you? Did you love it because it was fun, or was it about the money back then?
It was never about the money for me. It was about the climb. It was about the hustle.
Okay.
It was for the love of the game. More so the love of the game than even more so the love of the music for me. You know, I wanted to be very much a businessman.
Okay.
And so that's the route I took.
Okay.
I used it as a stepping stone to open up a business for myself.
Okay.
And never stopped doing business since.
It just kept going.
Kept going. I mean, and until somebody take me off this planet, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Business.
Now, you also had Return of the Holy One.
Yeah, that album is called The Ghetto's Been Good.
The Ghetto's Been Good to me, that album.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Thinking of a Master Plan.
That was on the Sons of the Father album.
How would you describe your music that you typically create?
Okay. I've done 5 different projects. Let's start with the Sons of the Father album.
That's 89, the first one.
That's 89, 90.
Okay.
That was with Tony D. Tony D did the beats. Back then, I wasn't very picky. He did a track. If I felt even a little bit, I would just write to it. We would go record.
Okay.
That's as simple as that. Never even thought about it so much.
You just write to it.
Just write. Okay. Thinking of a Master Plan was me just writing. It was supposed to be a B-side. We never even put an instrumental out to the first, which was, when I look back on it now, like how did we put that record out and didn't do? And it was on a single.
Yeah.
But it only had the vocal version of it.
Wow.
It was never supposed to be an A-sided record. In Control of Things was the A-side. Mm-hmm. And that was because Marley Marl.
Because he had In Control of Things.
In Control
That's
rap
right.
show. He would start his rap show with that record, and it changed my life. It changed my life. To describe the music, it was just very free form, whatever I was feeling at the time. And I always feel like art should be that way. Just like if I was sitting up here painting on that wall, and Lord knows what the strokes may be, you know, and I'm the type of person that will come out, stand up, look at it, get back to it. With music, it was like, at least back then, give me a beat, I would write something to it, we'd go record it. Moving forward, it became, let's make the music in the studio. If I'm vibing with that music, I'm gonna write to it right there in the studio, and we gonna do it on either the first take, or the second take, and whatever comes of it, we gonna keep it. And if it don't work, we trash it and do something new. And it was more heartfelt for me at that point. It was more like, now I'm in the feeling of this. But mind you, by the time that album came out, I'm on Broadway. I'm just a 20-year-old kid with a 1,900 square foot office on Broadway.
Wow.
Puffy was up working at Uptown. The only other comp that I had was Russell Simmons and Leo Cohen around the corner.
Yeah.
They had the Russ Associated label, and I spent some time with Leo. You had Profile up the street with Corey Robbins, and you had Def Jam up the street. That was it.
All them labels though like that.
They were all right in that same area, right? But me, I'm a rapper with my own label, my own production company on Broadway.
Wow.
And the Source did a big story about it, right? Hindsight 2020, we were the beginning of that whole mobile era. We were the beginning of it, right then. And shortly thereafter, I noticed Busta Rhymes was in the game, Flip Mode. And then there was Dame Dash. And I swear to you, it could be LA, it could be Atlanta, it could be New York. I was going in offices, they were coming out, or vice versa.
Wow.
So let's say I'm in Atlanta and I got a meeting with, let's say, Dallas Austin.
And then
I walk into the meeting, Bust.
he come out.
And then I can see you, man. You know, and that's how it was. Other than that, it would be Dame Dash, and I would see Dash all the time, all the time. And then next thing you know, Dash is with Jay, doing this thing with this dude named Kareem Burks.
Kareem Burks, they all had to do a little thing together.
Thing. So there was Flip. So we were there. Then shortly thereafter, there was Flip Mode, and then I guess a little after that, you had Rockefeller. But you know, Uptown, I guess if you want to really, really make it known, Uptown was there too. Andre Harrell had Uptown Records. He was a rapper. Remember, he was in Dr. Jeff.
And Puff was working for him at the time, right?
He was working for him at the time. And see, the only difference between Andre Harrell and me was that Andre was part of the major system.
Okay.
I was the first independent.
But he was part of the major.
He was part of the major system. Uptown Records had a parent. Bad Boy even had a parent. All of those labels had a parent. Rockefeller had a parent. Actually, Rockefeller had a couple of parents because they had Def Jam. At a point, they had.
What about Island Def Jam?
It was Island Def Jam at some point, but then it became Polygram, I think, owned.
What about Profile? Wasn't that a part of it too?
Profile was independent, but that was a white kid named Corey Robbins.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, white guy owned Profile. Russell Simmons owned
Def.
All right, see, this is where it gets tricky with Def Jam. Russell and Rick Rubin started Def Jam. Shortly thereafter, Rick got into the whole production side of things, and then there was this guy named Leo Cohen. So then they started RAL, and RAL had a bunch of labels. They had but you remember, it was the Russ Associated Labels. That's what RAL was.
Yeah, yeah.
They were right around the corner from me on Elizabeth Street. And so I would go there all the time. I would, because I just always wanted to be around the vibration. I was just young, but like I said, I was in offices every day.
You learned a lot from being all in the mix.
You can't. You gotta learn. I mean, there's no way to not learn. It's like, look, man, you sitting at a business table with, let's just say, Tom Silverman, that owned Tommy Boy Records, and Monica Lynch. I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah.
It's very hard to not learn what you need to learn fast, because you got to know what to say, you got to know what to do, you got to know, you got to be able to speak the language, move the move, talk the talk, walk the walk. You got to be able to do it.
It's that business talk. You know what I mean?
I mean, so I was very blessed in that I was able to rap and use it as a stepping stone to the music industry game.
If you didn't get involved with rap, what do you think you would be doing right now? If you never even got involved with the music, what would YZ be doing?
I'll be doing what I'm doing right now. At a very young age, I started buying homes and doing real estate. And that was because of my grandfather. And my father, he would do a bunch of stuff with his hands. Do I look the same in person?
Yeah, it's just you had the plaits, well, not the plaits, but the locks or plaits?
Well, I had locks. When I cut them, they were down the head.
Yeah, you still.
But in the early days, it was just, it started out as braids.
Yeah.
And then I took the braids, undid the braids.
What year did you cut your hair, man? I would like to
maybe 95 or 96.
Wow.
Cut it all off. And was going to start over. And then after about 2 days or 3 days of having my neck not hurting,
so they weigh heavy on you?
Yeah, and because I wash my hair every single day, which was probably a mistake, but it's water in my hair, I'm just weighing my shoulders down and my neck down, my neck would be bothered all the time.
Wow.
And so I cut it, and then after a few days, I was like, man, this feels better.
Oh, wow, so you feel good after you cut it all off?
It just felt like nothing. It just felt light. Think about it, when I cut my hair, it was down the head, it was heavy.
Wow.
And afterwards, I just decided I wasn't going to go back to it.
Wow, that's a good story. Now, one more before we go. Do you feel happy when you hear your songs playing today, like Thinking of a Master Plan? They still play that to this day. How do you feel when you hear your record playing today, man?
Well, to be quite frank with you, I don't really think too much of it at all, too much anymore. I know that sounds terrible, but I really don't think about it too much. I'm too busy doing day-to-day business to really think about it. And that almost sounds like, self-hate almost. But it's not.
Is it because you heard it so much?
No, it's not. I never really listened to my music like that.
Oh, wow.
Never. If I wasn't doing shows, because I figured I made it, I know what it sounds like, I know what the vibration is. I'm not going to be able to create that again, not that way.
Yeah.
So, I'm happy I was able to do it. But when I listen to some of that music, like I'm Thinking of a Master Plan, man, come on, man, think about it. I'm 17, 18 years old. And that song is prophetic. It talks about black presidents.
That's what I'm saying. You were so deep back then.
Well, see, this is what I was about to say. I don't necessarily think that was me. My words, but, we're just channels of something else. So something channeled through me to do that.
Okay.
Jay-Z put it best. He said, man, sometimes you just got to crack the door and let God in. While you're working on your music, crack the door and let God in. And I think that as long as you're open to the universe and open to, because back then I think I was more in tune. I was open to everything. I could almost sense danger miles and miles off.
Yeah.
And so when I listen back on it now, I'm really thankful that I was used as that channel.
Okay.
So I don't want you to think that I'm not grateful.
Okay.
But remember when I told you when I first heard the song and I was running out the house?
Yeah, you was hype. You was hype.
I don't get that anymore. I don't
Okay.
I don't feel that. Now, I tell you what would make me feel that. Let's just say one day, instead of somebody saying, I heard thinking of a master plan,
Yeah.
somebody says, yo, I heard this joint by you called Horizon. What'd you come up with that?
Okay.
Because then I know you're into YZ. You're not just into this one record or two records or three or four records that you know and you
know you have a fan that's into you.
Artist.
That's right.
I don't just listen to Purple Rain. I listen to Prince's catalog.
Yeah.
I don't just listen to Beat It by Michael Jackson. I listen to everything Michael Jackson has ever done.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder is one of my favorite artists of all times.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I didn't even understand the man. You get me?
Yeah.
But now I can't stop listening to him.
Because
I
you
can't
understand
stop listening
that.
to
Yeah.
John Coltrane.
Yeah.
I can't stop. Meaning I can't stop. Like I can't stop.
Yeah.
I wish I knew about them when I was younger, but now I can't put it down.
Wow.
So my mind between bogged down with business and listening to John Coltrane, you know, I am YZ. I don't need to listen to YZ's music.
Yeah.
I want to listen to John Coltrane, and I'm praying that there's somebody out there that wants to hear YZ every now and again.
That's right.
And it'd be wonderful to hear them say, "Yo, I heard some shit that nobody don't know of your shit. I heard, yo, you did this joint with something." I'd be like, "Man, you heard that? That would impress me." And I get it every
Because
now
you know they listening. They're a fan of you, not just a yeah.
Well, see, I don't necessarily get into words like you used it a bit, icon, legend. You know, I'm a man until I'm gone, and then Lord knows what I may come back as. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be a black man that has been able to relate with the struggle of this country and the world. I'm happy, grateful for it. I hate what we go through, but we still standing.
That's right.
We here. I hate that our folks got to go through bullshit. Somehow they missed us.
Yeah.
They missed us.
We still here.
And because they missed us, we can do what we do and we can tell people, look, this is how you can dodge bullets.
That's right.
Because we've dodged them.
That's right.
According to them, we shouldn't be here.
That's deep.
Remember when they used to say the statistic for black men was 23?
23. No, 22. Was it 22 or 23?
I know it was around there, 22, 23. We ain't supposed to make it past 23.
That's right.
Well, guess what? I'm 52.
I'm 44.
I'm 52. You feel me? And so most people, they come in here and be like, man, what's a young man like you owning a spot like this? You can't be no more than 25. I'm like, what? I got a son that's almost 30.
Wow.
You get me?
Crazy.
So God got plans for us. They people who ain't, DMX died yesterday. He got plans for us. And we still in shape. Still look halfway decent.
Yeah. Still standing.
You
Still
look at
strong.
These young boys who talking all this shit, popping pills every day, and then you look at them and wonder why they looking old.
Jay-Z says something like, the stress to take a young man and give him an old face. And when I think about that, that's what's going on now. These young boys be like 16, looking like they 35.
You know, it's funny, when I was 21, I felt older.
But you didn't, yeah.
I felt older. I didn't look older.
Yeah.
But I felt older. I'm 52 years old and I don't feel as old as I did.
I never expect that either. 52?
Huh?
No, I'm thinking you're about to say 40, 44, 45 or something.
I'm 52 years old. I'm proud of it. Happy about it.
Good, man.
Because I ain't supposed to be here. I ain't supposed to make it to 25. I'm 52.
Wow.
I screamed that out the highest
doubled
amount.
Wow.
Jay-Z and I are only a year apart. Actually, almost damn near a year to the day. He's the 4th of December. I'm the 8th.
Wow.
You know, so I'm happy, man. I'm blessed, and I'm trying to change some people's lives. So I work every day, and what a blessing to be able to do it, man. We don't have to be here. You didn't have to get on that plane and come see me.
That's right.
But you did it.
Yeah. And I'm here. We came to see YZ. We're here. Viewers, this is YZ. And I really appreciate that, man. This is YZ. He told y'all everything. He told y'all a lot, man, and he has a lot of knowledge. We glad to be here with this man, this brother. We're gonna show you the store in a minute. This A Vision Entertainment. We're gonna log off, but come back in a few minutes to show y'all some more scenes, man. Peace.